All right, I'm Ken Anders with Profoam. This is a Fusion AP gun. So I'll show you how to take the front of this apart, get it cleaned up so it's good for the next time you want to use it. Your chemical comes from the hose and goes in here. These are your check valves and screens. So to get those out, simply take a screwdriver and you pop them out. They're not threaded in or anything like that. Okay. There's my screen. Just slide that off. Clean it up. You can use brake cleaner to spray these parts down to get all the liquids off, either iso or resin. Now, once the iso and resin come together and make foam, you'll need to use a different product. I use Stoner B505 solvent for that. That's a solvent that you soak your parts in and it softens up that plastic. Okay, but for the liquids, brake cleaner is just fine, no problem. If you're going to soak parts, do not soak it with the O-ring on if you intend to use the O-ring again, because the solvents will get in there and swell those O-rings up. Okay, so if you want to use those O-rings again, if they're in good enough shape, take them off before you soak your parts. If they're not in good shape, just replace them. Okay, now, so that was our screen. And then inside here, there's a little screw like this, a spring, just like that, and a little check ball. Looks like a little silver BB right there. Okay, don't let them roll away. Okay, don't lose them. The other side is the same. The only difference between these two is this side has a little A on it right there. The B side does not have a mark on it. That's the only thing that differentiates the two. So that's going to work the same way. Just pop that out. There it is. Okay. Now, when you put it back together for this assembly, put the ball in first, right there. Put the spring in. Put that pin in and start threading it. But you don't want to thread it all the way down till it's tight. Don't do that. Just thread it in till it's flush, like that. Okay, if you thread it in all the way till it's tight, it could be down too low and could block the fluid from coming through and give you issues. So just make it flush. Put your screen back on. Okay, so now we have our two assemblies ready to go back in. Make sure they're clean inside. If the check ball in there has dirt on it, it won't work. It won't check anymore. You may still make foam, but if it tries to go backwards, it will allow it if that check ball's dirty, and you can get foam back in your coupling block. Okay, so make sure the ball itself is clean and the inside of that is clean. All right, next, we're going to take off our air cap on the front, right there, and our retaining cap here. These are our side seals. They're not screwed in, they're just pressed in, so you can just take a screwdriver and kind of work them out. Okay, there's a little lip there for it. It's a little tight, but work it out. It should be tight. Now, this is my whole assembly like this. This little piece on the end is actually the side seal. Okay, to get that out, we do not want to use pliers on it. Just take a pick, go into the hole back here, and use the spring behind it to push it out, just like that. Okay, so it's a side seal and that spring. Clean them all up real well. There's an O-ring on there, just like that. Two O-rings on here. Note where they are. Get them in the right spot. This groove and this groove. This groove up here is just for getting your screwdriver in so you can pry it out of the housing. Okay. Once it's clean, put your spring back in. Put your side seal in. O-ring first, like this. Just push it in. If you put it in backwards, you're going to flood your gun out. Okay. This one has an A on it. The one on the other side is not marked. Okay, that makes it the B side. All right. So I can also pop that one out. It's coming. Okay. This one's just covered in grease because it's a brand new gun. Okay, but get that all cleaned up, get all the iso out, take it apart, spray it out. If the O-rings are bad, change them. If they're good, you're good to go. Okay. Make sure it's all cleaned inside and out there. All right. From there, we can take the head off. So I'm just loosening up this ring. Slide the head off. Okay. And there's my mix chamber. It just takes a little bit of a turn right there, and the mix chamber's out. We'll clean that up. Make sure there's no scratches on it. If these surfaces are scratched, that gun's going to leak, and you'll see it as a mist coming out of the gun when you're not pulling the trigger. So I have another video on how to correct that if it is scratched. Okay. In your head, you want to get this hole right here. Make sure there's no foam inside. Do not take a screwdriver and poke at it. You'll scratch the inside and then it'll leak. So I would use some solvents, soft brush, very carefully with a pick. You can take it, but don't scratch that black surface. Okay, if you're in fear of scratching a black surface, do something else. You can even take some steel wool in there and clean that up. Clean up this hole. There is an O-ring right in the front right here. All right, right there. In that little groove. You want to make sure that's in good shape. If it's not, replace it. You can soak this whole head if you've taken all the O-rings off and put it right in your solvent, just like it is. There's another O-ring back here. Right there, if you can see that you need to get out. Right there, before soaking your gun. Okay, and that's pretty much going to be in good shape. You can always just put that back in as long as it is. Put it back in the same groove that it came out of. Once that's all clean, and I don't care how much foam's on the outside of the gun. The inside of the gun needs to look like it's brand new. All the parts, no foam on them, anything like that. Once that's done, we're ready to put it back together. So first we put our mix chamber in, and you'll see there's writing on that mix chamber right there. That's our part number and serial number. That goes up when I put it in the gun, just like that. I slide the head over the mix chamber, thread it on. That does not need to be any more than hand tight. That's fine just the way it is. Take our A side, goes with the A, pop that in. Our B side, pop that in. Put a retaining cap on. Our air cap. Just hand tight. This one does not have a mark, so it goes in the B side. This one has a little A on it. It goes in the A side, pops in. That gun's good and ready to go for the next day.